Well, Riga, it being the capital, it's the largest city population-wise of Latvia, but it doesn't even scrape by, I think, 800,000 people. So, yeah, if that tells you about the size of Latvia, it's pretty small. But the city is divided into two parts, divided by the river. And on the one central side, it's where the old medieval city is. And it's pretty much just like, the word in German is Walkplatz, just pedestrian area. You get to see all the old buildings, and it's very touristy. And then going east from there, you have like the commercial and the business center. And then farther out, you have just apartment buildings and then tiny little towns that have conglomerated into what is Riga. And then on the other side, called Pārdaugava, which literally means like over the Daugava River, it's first off a little bit more Russian, and there's much more just houses, big apartment buildings, and that most of the people live on the west side, Pārdaugava, but work on the east side, on the center side. But because many people don't have cars are very, very expensive for them. They've engineered a perfect public transportation system with trams, with buses, and trolley buses. And so pretty much everybody gets around on public transportation, and I think that's actually pretty cool. There are parts of town that are more dangerous than others. I think I'm not bashing on the Russians at all. I just feel like some areas of town where there are a lot of more Russians, there are still Latvians there, and so there's this like just cultural tension. But as for Riga, it's pretty much just in the outskirts, and most of Latvia is safe if you know what you're doing. Your other question was, oh yeah, shopping. There's still some sense of westernizing in Latvia, and so again, the youth speak English. They all know about Western trends. The fashion is pretty much the same. So shopping can either be in the big giant malls, or they do have a lot of privately owned little shops on the streets and in the corners, like fresh farm produce, probably from the countryside, right there on your street corner, and for pretty cheap, which is really cool. So pretty much anywhere you can get anything. There's still a sense of tinkering and mending, not so much as buying new stuff, but fixing old stuff. So a lot of antiques, a lot of shoe repairmen, bag repairmen, like they even bind old books and stuff like that. As far as I understood, what I saw, there's a lot of specialized schools as well. Like there are a lot of like musical high schools and like sports schools and stuff like that. But beyond that, I don't really know what the education opportunity is. The culture is really cool. I loved it. The history, like it goes way back. It's a European country. So they have a big open air museum. It's pretty much just like a park. They have pretty much like medieval style buildings of what Latvia looked like way back in like the 1300s. And I see that as evidence again of them trying to hold on to their traditions and stuff like that. There's other like art museums and historical museums all throughout Riga. And for business and what Latvia is pretty much exporting, I know that they have a lot of textile industry, and they've been known to produce sugar from sugar beets. So I will say that Latvia, economically speaking, is a pretty depressing place, that they just don't have a lot of job opportunities and stuff like that. But they recently, as of this year, last year, 2014, they turned to the euro. Before they had their own currency, the lat. And the lat was actually pretty strong against the dollar, so like price-wise, it's not too bad, but just wage-wise, it's pretty uneven. And so with that, some people like are not very well off. There's some sense of poverty. Actually, in many parts of Latvia, there are very poor cities and then very poor parts of said towns. But there is a very strong and present like social system, social service system. So I've talked to a lot of people who they have social welfare that helps them a lot. And overall, I would say that people like to help each other if they know them. there's still a sense of communism in the fact that your apartment building is arranged in like staircases, and everyone on the staircase pretty much has a allotted time, well, allotted slot throughout the month or throughout the year to clean and sweep the staircase and stuff like that. So there's this sense of community, and everyone knows who their neighbor is,